5, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, what? Okay, oops, there we go. This lady is lying happily there. Wonderful.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's Sunday morning.
Another rainy Sunday morning
Yeah.
at the Quinta.
Terrible weather.
All week.
We're still not in the circle because it's hot and sunny. But we are in a much cooler place. Not sure how much one can actually see, but if you look behind us, there are some amazing tomatoes growing. And I see some tomatoes that are already red. There's some peppers. There's a whole lot of cabbages over there.
More cabbage.
More cabbage.
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers. Chilies.
Mm.
Some really funky tomatoes. They're cool, right?
Yeah. Black tomato.
Black and blue and kind of green and very, very funky stuff. And yeah, so we're in the middle of the vegetable garden, in a shady spot here. And today our topic will be a lot about vegetables, because we've got mountain.
Mountain equals
vegetables. I'm not sure which title to give you because we've got the fire dominatrix. Veggie dominatrix sounds.
I told you I'm not into the dominating thing, and specifically not with like
the veggie encourager. The veggie.
All right.
No, that sounds. We'll think about something. But the person who knows about the veggies here, about the system, and we'll talk about the system we will be using.
Yep.
A bit, and so it will be an interesting introduction to companion planting, which is not co-planting. I know. I just tried it, and we were talking before, and I called it co-planting.
Which would also be the word for it.
Maybe. It sounds also nice, doesn't it? And there are also some other people on the land. So at the moment there are 7 others. So an entire family with children. So if you hear some laughter and some screaming, that's probably coming from them. Right. Wow.
Another big week at the Quinta.
Yes, it has been. I'm almost wondering, because we've spent so much time last week working with vegetable gardens and talking about vegetable gardens, preparing for vegetable gardens, plant little things that are now going into the earth for winter crop and winter harvest. And I'm almost thinking, well, maybe this is already the time to kind of just go straight into and dive into what we are doing.
Okay.
Because in a way, it seems like this is at this moment, it goes crazy with vegetables everywhere.
I was thinking also the solar panels were installed and you were very happy for a couple of days. Every 5 minutes checking how much power are we generating. Oh no, we need to put a machine because not all the power we are generating. We knew that was also this week.
Of course. See, sometimes these weeks are like, you come from Sunday to Sunday and you just don't like, oh, well, this is like 2 months ago. No, it's not. It was on Monday or on Tuesday. It's like, Tuesday actually we went live and we are now kind of, we haven't consumed any electricity whatsoever from the grid since Tuesday. And we've been playing a lot around with energy today. As you said, it was almost like,
Stefan, can I talk to you?
One of those terrible systems where you get an app and it's completely useless information.
What?
In a sense of, that all the batteries are 100% charged. And then you're going like, okay, can somebody please put on the washing machine?
Do you have any more clothes? Please. Anything. Towels, sheets.
It's just a little hot to put on the heater. But it's really kind of a nice thing to have that. I think it's so
Well, yeah, in that sense, it feels like it was a big, not only with the vegetable garden, but
Mm,
like in general on the self-sustainability thing.
yes. Yeah.
Like one of the things we encountered with the vegetable gardens was that there's actually not enough pressure on the water
That was another big
in
thing.
the drip system. So some plants were really like, "Eh, I'm dying," and it
Mm,
was some days were so hot. I mean, it was like, oh, yeah,
yeah.
38 in the shade. So that means in the sun where the vegetables are, that goes up to, I don't know. But okay, so they were
A lot.
suffering. So you installed a new pump down at the
Mhm.
river to pump up,
Yeah.
and then we put the new tube. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing. Now that you mention,
Now that you mention it, yes, yes, we now have water getting going up
yeah.
rather than
So
down into the vegetable
electricity,
garden.
water, yeah,
And we're waiting for tanks,
yep,
water tanks
storage,
to
yeah.
get more water around the Quinta. Yeah, quite a thing. And we started kind of making the round to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to this
go.
to go to this famous system because we've I think this year, if we think about the timeline of the Quinta, we've sort of been trying out
Mm-hmm,
stuff like
mm-hmm,
plant a bit here, plant a bit there,
mm-hmm.
do this. And then you've been leading the way in kind of bringing a real system to the Quinta, which
Mm-hmm.
you have experience with. And it comes from an author called Gertrud Franck.
Yeah.
Um,
The German lady who started developing this system in the 40s, I
mhm,
think. And I encountered it in June at a farm of a friend, and I was looking at his vegetable garden. At first, I was like, "What is this mess?" It was like there's no beds or pots.
mhm.
It was just a complete field full of green, and then little markers with red and blue and white. And I was like, "What the what the hell are you doing?" But he knows what he's doing because he's very experienced in growing vegetables. So then he explained me the system, and now he sent me a picture last week, and his vegetable garden is like it's like an explosion of, mind you, this is in Belgium. There's a
Mhm.
little bit of a different climate there, but still it's also a hot summer with not a lot of rain. So I was like, okay, maybe we could
Mm,
try this here. I mean, if you look at the amount of vegetables that we buy in the market
mhm. Yes.
every week to feed all the people that are here, you would need like a really good and efficient system. And this seems to be like German,
Mm.
good and efficient system.
Phew.
I mean, I don't want to, but yeah. So it's a system that implies companion planting. So that means which vegetables go well together in sense of like carbon, nitrogen giving and taking. Um, Also protecting, combining plants that protect each other from pests and diseases. And um, it grows in rows, which we will go into, but it's also working with like, these are the higher plants that create actually shade for the ones that are next to it, that are a bit more like spinach or salad, that are not so happy with full sun. So this is the companion part of the system. Um, it works with crop rotation. So in the rows, you would like um, it works with like spring harvest and autumn harvest or
Mhm.
winter harvest. And so in the same space, you would be like very cleverly, when one goes out, you put the next one, blah, blah, blah. So you have like on a small space, like a big yield because of that. And it works with direct composting, which was very new
Mhm.
to me, but seems very clever. Gertrud Franck is like, okay, you can make a compost heap. Sure, go ahead. But it's like always a bit like, is it gonna work? So what she does is like in between the plants, you would compost with whatever greens you or weeds you would take out of your rows, and then adding to that like wood chips and grass to make it nice and dry. And that actually becomes the place where you would plant the next year. So in the first year, you are creating a rich soil. She's referring to like how it happens in the forest, that just things fall on the floor, and it has this just by leaving it there, it's creating a rich humus for other stuff to grow in. So yeah, there was a lot for me that like came together in the system and made a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I flicked through the book just a little bit and kind of sort of looked at it, and I felt, like obviously there. I don't mean it in a bad way, but there was nothing particularly new.
No.
I was just flicking, like companion planting is a thing. Mulching is a thing. Green manures is a thing. But it's all these diverse things that weren't really, you sort of like, and I mean, we've been doing it here. We've been, kind of, for example, putting like wood chips and putting grass and those things, but there was very little system, or it's a kind of thing of, we tried like the Three Sisters, this kind of, is it squash, beans, and maize, this kind of companion planting ideas, or beans and potatoes. I think we had some other place, but yeah, it hasn't been so systematic and sort of like so integrated, because when I'm a very visual person, so I looked a lot of at the pictures of it, and kind of, I'm going like, okay, now actually with this I can work. Rather than jumping off and going like, oh, need mulching.
It's super practical. The book really tells you what to do, and so it's more applied, and you would have this indeed like this concept of green manure and this concept of companion planting, but she has worked it out in such a detail that it's actually a handbook on, you start in April with sowing spinach. So it's like it takes you through what you need to do. And I think it will be a bit of a brain exercise to make the actual planting plan, because there's so much things to take in account. But then actually once you have it, you can repeat it every year, because you don't need to rotate your crops in a very different space, because that's already accounted for in the system.
Yeah, and that's already built in, right? Because she keeps on talking about with like, and I think like maybe at this time it's a point to explain the rows.
Sure.
Because the rows move.
The rows move.
Well, things in the row move.
Very clear, no?
But we've got 3 types of rows, right? This is one of my takeaways. So we've got A, B, and C.
Yeah. Well, there's one. This is gonna be a bit technical, maybe if you're not interested.
But if you are interested, then you should come. Then we'll do an actual tour eventually when we have it.
Yep. No, so the idea is to have 3 types of rows. She calls it ABC just to make it easy. The A row is like a row which would have like tomatoes and stuff like that. You have one crop per season, so it stays there the whole year. Maybe you will plant it a bit later than the other crops, but it will stay like it. There will not be a second harvest within the same year. And these A rows would be 2 meters apart. Then in between, like at 1 meter, but then again, that's also 2 meters apart, are the B rows. And this is stuff that you have 2 crops per year, but are like a bit the bigger plants. And then in between A and B, A and B, A and B, B and A and B, is C rows. And that's like the much faster crops that stay low, also like lettuce, spinach, kohlrabi, stuff like this, so that you would have like 2 or 3 crops a year. But like this is the plants that like a bit more shady also, which they would get from the rows that grow next to it. So that's the big thing. And then I guess
that's certainly the one that sprang out to me at first. And I think, then you because so in a way you're rotating your crop not on
Within
the A rows, but on the B rows, you rotate in itself.
Yeah.
And then that sort of creates that system.
Yes.
The C rows are sort of, well, rotational, but they just have that thing. Like they're quick.
Yeah.
And they've got the A rows, which are the sort of the big, like tomatoes, I think, are in there, and potatoes, I think, are in there.
You might put potatoes or courgette, although I mean these potatoes are a bit, or still courgette like takes up so much space that I'm not sure that I would put it into this row system, because then you're like, okay.
So I remember kind of putting the courgettes, which are there at one stage, and Heidi was laughing at me, kind of going like,
these are too close together.
And I thought I was already kind of being very generous. I wasn't. And I can see the thing now.
Yeah. But then within these rows, you also look at which plants like each other. So it's like onion would be in the B row, I guess. And then carrots like to be with onions. So you could have early carrots left and right of the onion row. And then that would you could plant late carrots there later, for example. Tomatoes like to be with carrots. So in the A row, there next to that C row of carrots would be the tomatoes. And so it kind of like,
It moves. Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing that system in action. Like, what is actually I mean, I think because you already kind of touched on self-sustainability and kind of looking at the amount of vegetables we buy at the moment.
This woman at the market is very happy when she sees us, because we kind of like buy everything she has from her. Let's have all the carrots, thank you. All the cauliflower.
It was so cute when last week she saying like, "Oh, but I've got 2 more."
Yeah.
2 more. And we were like, "Yes, that's brilliant. We will take those 2." Feels a little bit like a takeover sometimes, but yes, she seems very happy, right?
Yeah, it's like, of course, then her day is done.
Yeah, of course, that's part of and it's probably a good topic for another time when we actually particularly talk about the food, but it's part of our strategy of having food only grown in this area, only in season, and certainly not coming from sort of outside of the area or sort of heated greenhouses and things like that. And of course, supporting local infrastructure, like local farmers who are, you know, a lot of them do an absolutely amazing job at what they do. But of course, ultimately, the goal is to have a lot of the things also ourselves.
Yeah, part of it at least, I think.
I mean, we will never be 100%.
But this is also kind of like your dream, no? Like, there's people coming, or there's people here that want to cook. You can send them into the vegetable garden and go like, this and this and this is ready to harvest and to make the meal from our own produce. I mean, that's a really, really nice thing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of like a very different thing than, you know, we all now go to the supermarket and buy something. And I think it's also part of the Quinta experience, which again might be another kind of thing, because I know you're going to stay here for a while. Actually, maybe writing down topics at the moment for what we can all talk about. You know, like the Quinta experience, the Quinta experience, but also the cooking. And I totally agree with you. It's a sort of, what an amazing thing if you kind of go in the morning and you're going to cook, and then you're gonna have 1 of this and 2 of this, and
chard, turnips,
and
potatoes.
Apart from the taste, of course, that's goes without saying, and the healthy aspect of really having live vegetables, which I always find that's the one thing.
Vegetables. Alive,
of course.
Online vegetables, as opposed to online vegetables.
Having a real reunion. No, I think it's it's the one thing I always notice, because we've been trying with the strategy of kind of buying the stuff that comes from the local farmers. And I was commenting on it when we were in the car together. When you have the vegetables in the back,
it smells like vegetables.
It really smells, and it doesn't matter which vegetables. It's sort of the things like suddenly cucumbers have a smell. In the car, right? Not if you hold it immediately in front of your nose. And that's quite stunning. I think it's very kind of a thing. So yeah, quite something.
Well, and then vegetables is one thing, but we also met, or you knew her from before. I met Emma, the local winemaker. For God's sake, she makes natural wines from the grapes that she grows on her own land, and it's a really good wine. So yeah, that's also so nice about this region, that a lot of people that live here, or at least, well, the locals, I don't know, but the people from abroad that come to live here are really seem to be all busy or exploring or experimenting, like how to live the good life. Referring to the book.
That's in September.
So.
Yeah, and I maybe should add, because it's also interesting for the food pod, and particularly for the Fantastic Fruit Week, Emma also does a lot of really good fermenting. Vegan cheese. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff kind of going on, and it's interesting. It's really fabulous that like other people around here, it's so nice that they are all sharing the knowledge, as well as being able to have these connections. Just really, really a fantastic thing. Is there anything else?
We've been talking a lot.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, because we have to have on our agenda at some stage, when we have all the vegetable planters. Of course, a tour. Because now we are, and kind of to tell everybody how fabulous the system is. Yes, it's going to be. I think one of the things, I know you've been saying one thing, which is this companion planting, and particularly in this method, which seems so nice and structured. What is the weirdest thing you plant next to each other?
For me, absolutely, it's strawberries are very good friends with leek. I'm like, what? Come again.
Which is amazing.
So you could actually like have a row of strawberries and put leek in between your strawberry plants, and they would like both love it so much.
And I'm already looking forward to it, because one of the meals that we do a lot at the Quinta is the Ayo Abrash, which is the sort of veganized or vegetarianized, depending on how you make it, version of a very traditional Portuguese dish. And if you give me strawberries, I'm in heaven. So.
But you would not put it in that dish, would you?
No. Maybe strawberry crumble afterwards, or something like that, but no.
And we have to start growing oats to make the crumble. Oh my God.
Oh, we've got enough over there. We can expand. But yeah, if you want to know more about this.
We don't have a copy of the book. We cannot like bring it to the camera, but it's called Companion Planting.
Yeah, it's actually very easy. It's companion planting.
By Gertrud Franck. And maybe, is there an option that you put a link or something?
Yeah, somewhere? I can put a link in the description. And of course, this kind of neatly moves over to what's happening at the Quinta and what are the kind of cool things sort of next week and beyond, which means I have to look at my thing here. So there we go. So because, well, we've been talking about gardening, and on Monday, 5 o'clock, there is tea time in the garden.
Whoa.
How fabulous does that fit? 5 o'clock, tea in the garden, which doesn't mean that you only have to talk about garden topics, but there is a lot of garden topics always coming up, a lot of plants, and we have Lazuli there and Kevin, who is hosting it, and both are super specialists on garden, and maybe we can borrow you for a little bit as well, so we can really talk about this in much more depth, because I'm sure Lazuli and Kevin, who are probably watching right now, we are already missing you guys at the Quinta. We'll have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
what we are doing here and what we're getting up to.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You leave us alone and we just totally make a bake-off of the vegetable garden.
Nope.
Good. On the 18th of August, if you haven't been to one, there is a welcome meeting where we explain everything about the Quinta that there is, how you join, what are the pods, what are all these things that we are referring to, what is this place, where we are sitting. And on the 18th of August, there's also a Quinta Social, which is for those people that are part of the Quinta community. And we're just having a nice time and play games and get to know each other a little better and reconnect. 29th of August, there's a book club, and I didn't bring the book down, but watch the previous episode. It's it's an introduction book to critical animal studies, which is really interesting. I've started to read it, and I already said last week I understand it, which is really good. So I'm not easy at understanding kind of complex topics, but
that's not.
they get too complex. But it's really also, it gives a very interesting, like these entire ideas about how we see animals. It really queries this and really queers the idea of the relationship with animals and how animals are and how they're kind of with each other. I think that's as far as I want to go about it, but really, it's really a super recommendation to read it. I know that there's another book club in September, and you are currently reading the book Good Life.
It's very cute.
And I think reading on the terrace, which is amazing. And then, of course, there are two big events coming up. There's the Food Week. So if you've made it through this entire episode and then you're probably a food lover, because what we will do is we will harvest, we will have local produce, and we will prepare the food for the Quinta during this week all together. So if you're into, and I know what the preparation that's been going on in the back is amazing.
It's about preservation, right?
Yeah, it's about preservation. And so I know Lazuli is going to be here and kind of co-hosting it. And there's these recipes, and then there's a book on wild fermenting, and I hope we can get Emma a little bit, and Heidi, of course, is a super specialist in food, and I mean, I just I have no idea about fermenting. I can make a jam. I had a very catastrophic attempt once at making sauerkraut. Didn't work. Let's just say didn't work. And it's not me coming from a German.
Fermenting I've ever done.
So I'm excited about it as well. And I've been looking, Kevin from the Tea Time has been kind of sending some stuff out where it was kind of about carrots and tomatoes, but not sort of just put them in a sauce and kind of, that sort of stuff, but really interesting kind of ways of doing it. So this week, I mean, I think you can learn so much. It will be such a fun week. And with the people who are co-leading it, I think that will be the week. If you miss that, really, I think it will be full of, amazing wine and food. And then shortly after, we talked so much about the Food Week. Shortly after, it's the Work Week, where we're focusing on land work here on the project. And it's a great time. I've been here last October. It's a really nice time, kind of warm, but not too warm. You can start to work, and really focus on things, and we have a lot to do. So that's the other kind of thing. And work weeks are fun. I know you've found your way to the Quinta. So work week.
On the first work week ever, or what?
Exactly.
Which was in April, not so long ago. But that was a lot of fun. Sure, it's a great way to get to know not only the land but also the whole of the project. And to be here with other people and contribute something and also receive so much. That I keep saying that's the great thing about Quinta for me. All this giving and all this receiving, and it's great.
All the work weeks have been amazing. Well, all the two work weeks have been an amazing experience. I think goes for us here at the Quinta and as well for everybody who was there.
Yeah.
And it's a very different vibe, and it's very kind of a fun vibe. Lots of people, and so much going on. It's amazing. So again, like if you can make a 2nd to the 9th of October, that's the work week coming up. And of course, hopefully soon we'll have an entire program for the new year with more work weeks. And I'm thinking in December, actually, there's another work week coming up. I think it's the first week.
The olive harvest.
The olive harvest week, very detailed. And actually, there's an olive tree just over there. So I'll put it on the harvest list. And then we'll preserve things. Yes, so that's it from another week from the Sunday Matinee. If you've been watching, thank you. And for everybody here, we are looking forward to our Sunday ritual pancakes, which is great. So thank you very much. Look, ladies already kind of ready to go.
Yeah. I want my coffee.
No, you just move this. Yes. Oh, and
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.